Welcome back, League fans. Game 3 is hot and fresh out the kitchen with a heaping helping of 100 Thieves and a side of FlyQuest Academy. And if you're looking forward to Rift Rivals next week, this is a match you'll want to watch closely.
Absolutely, because earlier in the week, 100 Thieves announced that Levi and Brandini will be the starting roster for Rift Rivals, which means we'll get a preview of what to expect here and now. 100 Thieves played the winless Clutch and undefeated CLG Academy yesterday, and in true Academy fashion, they beat CLG but got destroyed by Clutch. So those expectations are still very in flux.
And with Levi and Brandini moving up to join the LCS roster for Rift Rivals, it's only fitting their opponents do the same. FlyQuest Academy support JJ will likely move up to the LCS stage this week as Quan is coming down for Academy.
Yeah, Quan may have won the battle of that rivalry Sunday matchup versus Big, but he apparently lost the war because he was finding himself down in Academy this weekend. We'll see how this move affects the team's performance as they return to Spring Split after losing Shrimp and Keen, who formed the backbone of their success in that Spring Split.
Certainly we're strong, but with that, we're going to get ourselves into the starting lineups. On the blue side, we have 100 Thieves. In the top lane, Brandini. In the jungle, it's Levi. Middle Insanity, Bot Rakara, Support Stunt, and their coach, Joseph Jang.
And FlyQuest Academy will be the ones taking the red side. No in the top lane, Anda in the jungle, Peckham in the mid, with Ari and Quan down the bot lane, coached by Gabriel Zotan Johan.
Which is quite the name.
Love it.
I guess it is a real name. Very great stuff, but...
Wait, you thought it was a fake name?
I mean, it's one of those names you're like, that seems way too cool to be a real name. And
Yeah.
then it's like, no, that's my name.
Apollo Price.
Yeah. I mean, I have a Chinese middle name. No one believes me until I show them my ID. So
What is your Chinese middle name?
Xian Ming. Moving on. I mean, I think the easy question...
Let's get in the game!
The easy question of a champ select is, we have seen double Kaiser Braum, and it is won twice. Without any other context, you have to think that one or two of those champions may need to be taken away.
I think it's very good in Academy, especially as well, where teams are struggling to close out the game effectively. And if you make a mistake versus that Kaisa and she gets a couple, spare kills, it's suddenly a runaway game from you. And it comes at not too much of a cost in your early game. You heard Otto in that interview saying, if you fall 3K gold down, that's actually within the range of what you're expecting to do with the strategy. And it is hard to punish it harder than that. So you do fall behind intentionally, and then you come further back ahead. And so I think it's a great strategy down in the Academy where people, like we said, not clean in the macro sometimes.
I think maybe the thing to consider, though, is that for 100 Thieves Academy, unless Levi wants to move positions, could be tricky.
Yeah, there's definitely a synergy issue that has been apparent ever since Levi showed up in the middle of last split. While undoubtedly an unbelievably talented player, we've seen it on the international stage, we see it in NA solo queue every day, does not seem to have that influence over the game that he had when he was on his full Vietnam team, and it has not quite found that footing in North America yet.
All right, well, bans are looking pretty similar here. FlyQuest Academy with today's tradition of Talia and Nocturne getting taken away. We have Onset Wani Zoe on the other side for 100 Thieves, and that leaves one more ban now in this phase for FlyQuest.
Yeah, we'll have to see. And like you're kind of alluding to, maybe that means just moving Levi out of the funnel strategy and put him more in the bot lane. Play Lee Sin down there and make a kill lane.
Yeah.
Who knows? Why not? Could work.
I mean, this is one of those things where if you want to play Kai'Sa, I mean, maybe you move Rakara, right? Do what CLG just did and move your bot laner into that kind of role. But trying to make Insanity a player that has looked okay, but is maybe more enabling the rest of his teammates, we'll have to see, because 100 Thieves Academy have already picked Kai'Sa.
Yeah.
Last ban was Rakan.
Might be
Everyone
already
at home.
Moving it. Yeah, the Rakan ban, I liked it in the last game. Like we were saying, in the new meta, it does actually work well together with a lot of non-standard bot laners who want all-in threat. He's able to bring a lot of that. So much stronger than he used to be when it was basically him only if Xayah was his partner.
And there's Morgana for FlyQuest. So Shen also going to pair in there. Again, two pretty flexible champions.
Yep, not too uncommon these days to see Morgana in the carry position of the bot lane where she's able to get some more gold, get that Zhonya's bigger black shield with more AP, and then you're funneling someone else in the mid lane, so that way when you all start grouping up as 5, you have this unstoppable killing machine.
And there's Tom Kench actually on the 100 Thieves side, so curious to see where that one goes. I've done this already today. I liked it, but it's not as strong potentially as something like the Braum or even the Rakan.
Yeah.
But Lulu also joining in as another support for this team.
So both teams looking like they're grabbing up as many supports as they can. And I was mean mugging Pastry a little bit there. I watched them play a funnel game.
I played flawlessly.
I will say that in solo queue, you can funnel a lot of things. I know Jat won a game that was a Mumu Rumble funnel or something like that. So in no way was Tom Kench bad, but I'd be surprised if people go for it in the pro scene where the execution barrier is a little bit higher.
Jad's basically been like, he's asking everyone to funnel right now.
If you have a League of Legends account, Jat will ask you to funnel.
We can't confirm that, but at this point, it seems like about
Just tweet at him right now, guys. Yeah. Everyone in chat.
Ask him to funnel and chill.
Hit Jad up. Ask if you want to funnel.
All right. Well, that's great for FLYA Academy. So I assume jungle there for Under, but again, seems more standard on the FlyQuest side.
Yeah, I mean, the Graves is one that you can still funnel with. It's a little bit better if it's working more autonomously. It can go pressure the enemy jungler, and then your mid laner is hopefully something that can get priority as well to free that Graves up for the invades. And it's usually not something that's, Braum and Graves or something like that, just because there's a couple less synergies as he is low range and doesn't quite become that hyper scaling threat that you see a lot of the other funnel strats looking to do.
Well, we've seen, like I said, 2 wins already for Kai'Sa Braum. Not an option as 100 Thieves actually banned the Braum, taking that one off the table, and Nunu and Kennen are the other 2 bans there for FlyQuest. So I think Nunu makes sense. As champion, you can probably still squeeze into this kind of team comp. Kennen, not sure, but I'm sure they've got a reason to take it away.
I think Brandini was the one who played it yesterday and popped, or excuse me, not yesterday, last week, and popped off very hard with that Kennen pick against Amundo and completely ran him over. I believe that was him.
Gone. Mundo now banned away by 100 Thieves. Brandini does not want that man in his lane.
Yep, makes sense. If you can't counter pick it, ban it away.
And now what, I guess, for FlyQuest Academy, and definitely for 100 Thieves. I mean, they're basically saying, hey, we're going to put gold into this Kai'Sa and try and carry the game like we've already seen twice today. We've got 2 supports, but they're a bit different. There's actually Taric for FlyQuest.
So what's so great about draft these days is like literally anything is still up for FlyQuest despite showing 4 picks. That could be a Taric Graves duo lane, funnel strategy with Morgana Shen in the bot lane. That could be Shen top with Taric in the bot lane, Morgana mid. Like, you can still do anything. As we see the Kayle hover.
Also kind of do anything. That's a Kayn locked in for 100 Thieves Academy.
So with that, you can most likely expect a standard Kai'Sa Tom Kench lane with a Lulu mid and a Kayn to go and play aggressively and combo together with that Lulu.
And it looks like Brandini probably wants something a bit more carry-oriented. You said his cannon recently has looked pretty good. They're hovering Lee Sin. I think they're having fun. Maybe they'll pick Heimerdinger. It's hard to say.
They go with Aatrox.
They'll pick Aatrox. Okay.
Flash a lot of interesting stuff. Instead, go for one of the best 1v1 split pushers in the meta right now, but not for too much longer. Get him while he's hot for pro players because he's not there on live servers anymore.
No rework, but like you said, it's still in the pre-rework state here on 8.12, so players will be used to that. And I think, again, if you think about 100 Thieves right now, who are their 2 performing players, surprise, surprise, they're the ones starting with the roster at Rift Rivals. It has been Brandini and Levi as last pick Malphite for FlyQuest Academy. So let's play. Where are these champions going? They'll stop around in a second. We'll figure it out. But some stuff is happening.
Malphite top is a pretty safe bet.
All right.
So let's start there. Graves jungle, another pretty safe bet, which means you probably, like we said, have the Morgana Shen bot lane with a Taric mid, and you're doing a funnel strategy into the Graves. We'll have to see how this goes because he is a champion with a lot more early game power than you see on some of the funnel strategies like the Kayle or the Kai'Sa. But he does have that fall off late game, so I don't think the fall 3k behind strategy is really what you're looking to do if you have that Graves in a funnel comp.
I think, again, maybe just apply a bit more pressure, use it to kickstart the Graves, and then take over with his early game power. I mean, if you're a little bit stronger and start getting ahead as a Graves, it's pretty easy to snowball the game and continue to get further ahead.
And Kayn is someone who might be a little susceptible to that kind of early aggression that you might see out of the Graves. You know, you can queue on to him, but then if he dashes away and starts autoing you, probably doesn't feel too good. You don't have any CC really in your kit until you, or hard CC, I should say, until you get that red evolve that most Kayns prefer, getting to knock up the hard CC, extra defensive steroids, some extra sustain. I assume that's what Levi will look for. As we got 2 Darkin in the game. Oh, baby.
Oh, baby.
Got Rost and Aatrox comboing up.
Same team. How do you ever win?
So what do I say for lore for these 2 right now? Because the lore hasn't been rewritten on 8.12.
That's true. Aatrox,
so these are not fallen Shurima Ascended right now.
No.
Why
do you know so much lore?
Because I liked Aatrox, and they changed his lore a lot, so I learned the new lore.
Okay.
He's no longer, you know, what I think a lot of people assumed a Darkin were, but now he's back. Currently, he is the same Darkin that you knew before, not the fallen Shurima Ascended.
Also, Kayn is not a Darkin yet, I believe. Only Rust is, right? If we're going to get technical.
Right, technically he's still Kayn. So he's in an internal battle against Rost.
That's true. So if he goes blue Kayn, He'll have chosen the light side.
Yeah.
And we won't get to see double duck. And instead, we'll get a late invade here for FlyQuest Academy. So they're just trying to get some vision down. This is something we do see from time to time. Again, with champions like Braum and a marksman, you can get pretty aggressive in the early levels. Somewhat similar theory here. And No is actually going to help leash the 100 Thieves blue buff. That's going to force Levi over somewhere else. But it looks like he started Raptors, now going red. So for the first time in 2 games today, I will have to pay attention to junglers doing real jungle routes instead of funnel jungle
That's exactly
routes.
what I was going to say is, you know, both these are actually jungle champions. So no surprise, Levi's just able to go and do that on his own. This is not a funnel strategy. Lulu mid, despite some of the changes that came in with shields, was still a very meta champion before then, as a very nice sidestep there by Linsanity. And this is, you know, more of a standard game for them. And Levi has a fantastic Kayn, absolutely beautiful. We saw on the international stage before, able to find a lot of kills. And so you kind of just have standard lanes and him kind of running between them, trying to figure out the best strategy. Going to be a fight over the Scuttle Crab, though.
Yep, does have Smite, but might be able to get out. He does get the crab, I believe. And now he's forced to flash, and they're going to follow him with a quick draw. There's the volley flash. Exhaust is down. Levi looking to go down. Arda wants first blood, and he's going to get it.
And this is the concern that we're talking about. Graves, a very aggressive champion early on. They're able to find Levi fighting over that Scuttle Crab. Went pretty greedy, all things considered, to go for the top side one as he had finished his red down the bot side. New Levi, or excuse me, Onda did not have his red and was might be falling back for that instead, but Onda comes up for the Scuttle Crab. Just CC, greeds out, doesn't want to lose the Scuttle Crab after his path took him up there. And it does cost a lot of resources for this funnel strategy, but probably worth it, all things considered.
Yeah, a lot of extra gold. Back to mid lane. Insanity would have pushed this out a little bit, but still, again, kind of back to moving through mid, pushing it out, and then looking to farm up this crab. So they'll get one for themselves, and first blood's on a bad trade for the early objective.
And with these funnel strategies, it's, as we see, No getting all into a little bit here.
Brangini, a big amount of damage. Conqueror proccing, just slapping down the Malphite.
What I was going to say is one of the problems with the funneling strategies that you sometimes run into when you make aggressive plays is there's so much standing gold on the map, as basically all of Onda's jungle is up. He actually hadn't done a camp during that. He started blue, went mid, and went back to Scuttle Crab. Now just finally getting into his own jungle, and Kayn going to be able to actually steal away a fair amount of his jungle.
Ooh, and Insanity looking for the outplay!
The Guardian!
Procs, very nice. I mean, great play by Peckham to stay alive, but Linsanity is actually styling in this 1v2.
Yeah, Linsanity's doing a good job to keep pressure up as best he can, and Levi's going to try and convert. It's a little difficult to do as the minion wave is not in an ideal spot, but you know, these are some of the problems that we talk about funnel comps getting into. Yes, you made the aggressive play and held down the Kayn, but he respawns and gets back on the map, starts farming. You get stuck mid because your mid laner gets pushed out, and it just continues to kind of be a bit of a struggle for the snowball comp right now. Or excuse me, funnel comp.
Yep, and Levi, again, doing, I think, some appropriate counter jungling. Kayn is very good at zipping through the enemy jungle and taking camps down quickly, so I guess I like this as pretty soft counter, but theoretically the idea of picking something like Kayn to just say, all right, if I know when you're going to be stuck, it's really easy for me to counter jungle your camps if I have a good idea of what's up. And Levi is the kind of player with good intuition. Yes, he'll fall behind in farm because Andre's getting fed so much, but the principle I like. This is the problem for Levi. Whenever he runs into these two goons,
yeah,
take him down.
Unfortunate timing with Linsanity going back into base, and that's kind of how it works. There's a lot of these priority timings that happen against the funnel comp. But yeah, like you're saying, Kayn has a lot of, I don't know how to quite say it, like sustained mobility.
Yeah.
Where he can't gap close super far distances, but over the course of 30 seconds with the low cooldown on his Q as well as his E, he's actually able to traverse a lot of walls very quickly and can find some very interesting paths to reach farm that would otherwise be harder for other champions to get to.
Yep. Wolf was roaming up to the mid lane, trying to get a gank going on as Anda was recalled. Levi now going to visit top lane once again, sneaking into the brush, trying to get something going here for Brandini.
And it's the right idea. Attack a side lane while the funnel's busy farming the mid.
Yeah, good knock up there. No going to be forced to flash away. W is going to hit there for Levi. Brandini now 6. Might see a dive coming on if he can build up the passive, and I think No knows that he needs to leave.
Getting a little greedy for the wave, though. It hasn't backed off yet. Struggling to push it in for 100 Ds. They will get it in there. Malphite still has his TP. He'll TP back in a second as the funnel says, let's get the scuttle.
Yep, squad's coming back, but instead they'll take the crab here on the left-hand side. It is kind of great to see like Mafia Graves have like a little henchman behind him.
That's true.
On the map. I wish it was like Bloodstone Tarek or something. Instead it's like, I don't know why the Mafia boss is having a pool party when he's trying to like move to 100 Thieves jungle and like collect loan money or whatever Mafia bosses do.
It's a bit of a clash in the themes.
But apart from that, things going pretty nicely here. Gold tied up early on. First kill did go to FlyQuest. I'll actually check in with the bot lane, which looks like a lot of farming, which I guess I expect from a Morgana-based farm lane.
Yeah, it's a very tough lane for either side to do much. Tom Kench wants to, maybe run up and gobble you, but Morgana has the black shield to run away from all that, as well as the fact that you can just kind of drop your W down and watch the minions slowly dissolve in the puddle of goo, acid, swamp water, whatever that is. I have no idea.
I think it's skin specific, but I think we've had too many skin / lore-related discussions already in this early game.
Absolutely.
Brandini, though, still looking good here in his 1v1. Has a Tiamat now and up a pretty healthy amount of CS, and not going to let Malphite get away with too much here.
And I'll be honest, looking at the FlyQuest comp, I'm a little confused at what they want to do. I actually would love the Malphite if this was a Master Yi comp, and you have the Tarek ult to drop on the Master Yi while Malphite serves as setup, but Malphite doesn't have anyone to follow up behind him. And there's no one to really run wild with the Tarek ult. Whoa, Levi!
Still gets stunned off to the flash. That feels so bad. And I got the blue as well with the smite. So lost both battles there for Levi. And now a dive incoming on Brandini. Oh, good ult. There's Anna going to follow up. Collateral damage ready to go. Dark Flight is out. Resurrection is coming. But here's Quan. Lining up a taunt. Brandini will flash, but that's to his death only. Quan able to get the kill.
Yeah, not much happening as Linsanity was back in base, actually recalled instead of trying to follow up on that collapse. Levi's death there was just a big mistake, trying to greed out really heavily for that blue buff, and dies as a result. I mean, it's very annoying to deal with your mid laner getting pushed in, but this is kind of what you live with when you're against the funnel comp. They have the priority advantage, they have the pink ward, they know what's going on, and you just can't afford to queue in like that. As I don't know if he didn't know if the Tarek was there as well, but you have to assume his buddy's there, and that kind of spills over into the top side where Brandini's going to be the one to get punished for it. And like we said, Linsanity was back in base. If he was trying to cover the top laner, maybe an ult comes in here and they're able to keep him alive and maybe get a cleanup kill, but not the case. 2 kills, gold lead for the funnel comp, but still some concerns.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of not what you expect with this kind of comp. Again, quoting Otto from his last interview, that you kind of have acceptable losses in these kind of comps, so getting ahead is always nice. I think part of that's just a symptom of Graves as the champion you're choosing to use, because you can be very proactive with a strong early game jungler like Graves, who's just getting extra gold essentially in this case. But I do still agree with you that exactly what FlyQuest comp is trying to do is a bit of a mystery. But
yeah, the Malphite pick, like, just is weird to me. Like, yeah, we'll get onto the Kaisa, but how is the Graves supposed to follow up on that other than throwing an ult in over the top? Not really an auto attack range, unless he's flash E-ing in with the Tarek ultimate on him, but that's not a very reliable gap closer. As well as the fact that you don't have the scaling advantage with the funnel strat. You're going up against a Kaisa Lulu, as well as having a split pusher in Brandini. So this is one of those games where the funnel comp actually probably wants to be the aggressor.
Yeah, right now 100 Thieves getting aggressive in a 1v3 dive. Stands united. They're onto no by Quan. Finds the taunt onto stun. Drops the Spirit's Refuge. Damage now. Back in onto the Tom Kench. Under roaming up. TP in from Rikara. He looks at back and look, but does not find him with the Void Seeker. Levi also here ready with the ultis. So 100 Thieves are just trying to break open a turret and I think open up the map a little more, but looks like defense in for FlyQuest will stop that.
Yeah. Malphite's one of those champions that's notoriously scary to walk up to the turret and an auto attack in front of his face. That ultimate can come in and instantly start a fight, and you get popped underneath the turret. It's very hard to fight back against, so no surprise to see that push attempt fail. But with that TP from Rikara, it does buy time for Airy by himself on the Morgana to keep pushing that wave in, start building up a small advantage for himself, most likely.
Uh-oh. Room in though from Abyssal Voyage. Rikara and Stunt pop out. Airy gonna try and cut it out of the way. Pops the ulti. Might actually get a 1v2 kill. Stunt. Good devour. Rikara spat back out. There's the W, but Rikara can't follow. It took too much damage. And
Not
Airy,
a bad play at all by him. A little misuse of the W. Could have gotten a little more damage on Rikara, but was still able to walk away from what looked like a pretty sticky situation.
Yeah, did enough. And does save himself and burn only a few cooldowns. Brandini, no, we're battling it out. There's Massacre pop there for the Aatrox. Brandini wants to dive in. Passive gonna wear off though, and doesn't know where Hunter is, who looked to be roaming up potentially. Instead, they're back onto Insanity, back and north. Can't quite find a potential stun angle, so Lulu would have cleared the wave. But it has to wait patiently. Quan looks for a taunt. Good lick there from Stun to slow him down, because Quan posturing pretty aggressively.
Yeah, Quan was doing the run at them and hope they back up strategy. As you see, this is the uninteractive laning phase we were talking about. Morgana throws the W down, starts dissolving the minions, shoot a binding in there as well, and Kara has to back up as the minions continue to die.
Kai'Sa's still getting farm though, not as much as of course if you were getting extra gold donated to you, but
hey, she's still a real marksman. Yeah, she can play normally in the bot lane.
And as we've seen, very strong with items. So let's see how Rakara's build comes along as far as timing. And I feel like has more money to spend. There's so much CS and 2 kills plus an assist, meaning he's 100% KP. So it looks like at least the aggressive side of this funnel duo, which is not something I expected to see today, is doing well so far, but does, again, still feel like the onus is on FlyQuest to apply that pressure, and at least for them, that's what they are doing.
Yeah, and to be fair, as much as we've talked about the hyper-scaling funnel strategies, there are, as a big rotation coming up for Brandini, he's not safe under that turret.
He knows it too. He's going to have to back away under experience lead over pretty much everyone. And now a turret going to get aggressed on. Grave pretty good in sieges as well. And with 4-man strong, Quan able to join if he needs to. His stun going to try and make something happen, but he's going to get stunned here. Good knock-up bounce around is there. The Tarakar's going to come out. Quan gets yet another kill. Brandini trying to get someone down, but the Cosmic Radiance stopping that all as Levi forced a flash Q out of the way. Ares also here. He TP'd up to join the fight. 100 Thieves only lose 1, but they will lose the turret as well.
Not a bad play by FlyQuest, able to get the dive off before the rest of 100 Thieves all showed up at the same time. Stunt was a little ahead of the play. The Taric ultimate comes in to allow them to finish him off. And then there's not much else. As, once again, Ricard without that TP is down the bot side, just smacking away in that turret. 4v5 did not work. No,
trying to trade. Actually, Levi also mid lane trying to get some tower damage done, but 3 there for FlyQuest as Eri moves in to push Levi off that turret. And with 4 staying here, a couple minions still left. We're going to try and take down this turret. Should be able to get it, have enough firepower. FlyQuest with a positive trade, keep the push going.
Yeah, Ricard is able to trade out in the bot lane, but the extra kills coming up big, and now there's a 4,000 gold lead about on the side of FlyQuest Academy.
You can see Levi's trying to take something back here, but he's 3,000 gold down to the Graves with, again, still 100% KP and all this gold funneled into him. And after Warrior, whatever Under's going next, he'll be a very strong boy.
So we'll take another look at this. Unfortunately, Tahm Kench is not synced up with anyone right now, so he has to kind of run over to them, wait for Lulu to get in range to get the click. Doesn't actually take it. So he shows up with Levi inside, who has to queue out. They get the engage off, and you know, nice job with the Grey Health to try and save alive as long as possible. Linsanity shows up late. Ares on the backside as well. Levi's flashing out, running away, and so they're not actually able to find any kills to answer back. It looked like it could have potentially worked if all of them showed up at the same time, or maybe if Linsanity was there instead of Levi to help keep Stunt alive to deter that dive even more. Either way, well played by FlyQuest. That Taric ultimate keeping them alive. Now they're going to continue to snowball the objective.
Yep, Mountain Drake is pretty nice actually, I think, with the way they've been approaching this game. They're going to try and, you know, aggressively snowball through the mid game. Not a bad Drake to do it. A little late on the take, but objectives going the way of FlyQuest Academy, which is what they want. 100 Thieves, so continuing to play with kind of map tempo pretty nicely. Rikara and Stunt are going to take out this turret. Rikara, now that Ginsu's done, got a lot stronger already.
It is true, doing a good job trading out the objectives, foregoing, trying to stop that Mountain Drake. Aatrox a little scared to walk forward, it looks like. Not quite sure where everyone is on the map, waiting to get more vision as Levi starts up the Rift Herald.
Yep, again, it's been a tough early game here for Levi with 2 deaths. Talk about Kane really needing that transform to have things happen. Levi's still stuck in vanilla Kane form. Hasn't bought the expansion pack just yet.
Yeah, gotta get that DLC.
Always feels bad, man. The game's so great, and then all of a sudden...
Well, I mean, to be fair, Levi basically greeted out for camps twice and died twice for it. And so this is really his own fault for not really respecting the funnel strategy. It feels like he wants to be like, 1v1 me like a man. jungle versus jungle, and instead the Taric always shows up with stuns and things like that. So you got to kind of fault him for not respecting the funnel comp.
Yeah, a little too brazen perhaps in the way he's played. I know Packenwolf still sticking together. The best buds now onto the Rift Herald, as Death Dance was actually the first item after jungle enchant here for Anders. So looking to really carry through these team fights as a Graves. I mean, it makes sense. He's the one getting all of this gold. Rift Herald will go over to FlyQuest.
Definitely needs to go for the aggressive build path, and right now there's no armor on the enemy team, so the frequent Black Cleaver next, while still would have amped his damage a little bit, is not entirely necessary right now, and you can argue the Black Cleaver with the cooldown reduction and extra AD will be doing more.
See if he gets it after this. Instead, Rift Herald is going to get the majority of this work done. Still needs a couple more shots. More than enough pressure here for FlyQuest to take down that turret and retake the lead on that front after about 3,000 gold. There's 100 Thieves. Again, behind versus the funnel comp, kind of a weird spot to be in, but that is the state of this game currently.
Yeah, and I think maybe we were being a little too singular in our definition of what a funnel comp should try and do, because if you think back to the Echo Fox funnel comp that they ran with Aurelia Sejuani, you know, they were very clearly focused on fighting 2v2 with that comp, and they want to get an early lead, and they want to snowball through fights. And yes, Aurelia gets more gold than the Sejuani, but at the end of the day, you're still mostly focused on early game / mid game fighting. Not every comp is that Kai'Sa comp, though.
No.
Clearly looks like the strongest.
I think so as well, but again, kind of harkening back to very, very early days of League of Legends, roaming support was a very real role that was played early in Season 1. So if you want to think about this extra support role as more of a roamer, then you can kind of see, okay, there are lots of opportunities if we pick more aggressively to play more aggressively.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Graves being that kind of jungle bully that we're talking about is one of those more aggressive matchups that you can go for. And they've done it pretty well, getting those 2 kills on Levi, like we said.
Well, Levi does get his red buff and actually committed his ultimate to try and steal it, but has no luck that time around. Brandini now also with a Titanic Hydra finish. Definitely going to need a Wraith Blade, but feeling he needs the extra health right now, given all of the pressure he's been under.
Yeah, that snowball topside just never quite worked. Levi looked there twice, couldn't turn it into a kill. Levi's also dying, and then that, like we said, that mid-jungle spill over to the top side. Every time Brandini was underneath his turret, there were 3 people coming for him.
Here he comes again, though. It's going to be a 2v2. Quants here, Pop Stand United. Here's the Abyssal Voyage. Stun joining in, but it's only himself right now. Another TP in from FlyQuest Academy. Here's Eri looking to line it all up. A great knock up there from the Malphite. And now Eri going to tunnel that ulti. Anders arrived for the damage. Levi, he's going to live. Oh, no, actually takes him down instead. Flash Binding is going to get flashed out by Brandini, but he is running the wrong way to try and get out of this one.
Yeah, I'm going to lead them on a bit of a goose chase.
Oh,
Finding
caught
lands
in the back of the feet. And Ander going to get yet another kill.
Yeah, clips the heels, binds up the Aatrox, and Ander grabs, like you said, importantly, the kill. So he's 3-0-3 now. The main carry threat, making sure to get the majority of the kills. Well, I guess split down the middle, but 3 kills, 3 assists, 100%.
You can still see how much FlyQuest are playing around this duo. Pegamo finally slacking a little. Does not have 100% KP with only 5 assists, but he's working up towards his secret agent status quite nicely. FlyQuest, again, just going to smash down these turrets.
Great start for them, and now you're at the point in the game where maybe you're saying, the FlyQuest Academy comp, I'm not 100% sure how it wants to team fight, but hey, 6,000 gold lead is enough that you don't need the ideal funnel team comp at this point. You have a very fed Graves, and this is another fight that kind of gets him ahead. Brandini wants to go because he knew he had backup, but FlyQuest was already in the process of responding, so the Shen comes in, TP follows, Peckenwolf was roaming, and Honda bringing up the rear, able to chase out the front line while stranding the resurrecting Brandini on the backside.
Long range Q there from Noah is what got it, as this long chase did eventually lead to a binding. He can only run for so long for Brandini.
And Quan did his best to try and steal that kill, was not able to do so.
He is the guy that steals the kill on the team. I've noticed this.
Yeah.
This happened also on Rivalry Sunday. He was, I mean, I get that he tried to kill Big that time. That actually is valid. Ooh, never mind. 1v2 for Brandini against the Big Under. Yeah, no chance.
Good idea, but not really.
Theory versus practice is rough sometimes. Did not work out for Brandini. Quan and Peckenwolf, the double support duo, carrying some minions there.
That's the best feeling when it's like 2 guys, no money, helping each other out. A bit of camaraderie in that.
Yep. Sharing gold always nice. Early redemption actually for Peckenwolf. It's his first item. Looks like Quan's still working on that Knight's Foul, but not too far away. And Under following down a Cloud Drake. Pretty easy for Graves to do in early levels. Much easier for Graves to do with 2 items. Phantom Dancer now finished. Actually 3, sorry, as Full Warrior is going to count here as well.
Yep, so Onda getting close to level 16, completely aligned. 13, the highest on the side of 100 Thieves Academy. And it's on a Lulu too, so not a champion that's really going to be abusing that level advantage. And now with this massive lead, it looks like FlyQuest want to start considering the Baron buff, at least getting the vision cleared out to maybe get some face checks. They do have a fair amount of catch available with that Malphite ultimate, the Morgana bindings, and Quan being able to maybe land a flash taunt. So they have a lot of CC to lock people down.
Still a nice ward there for 100 Thieves just left of the Baron. He's going to protect it. It's kind of funny to me that that ward is continuing to be as successful as it is. Because you feel like at some point, the team's just like, they always put one there. Go with your sweeper and take it out.
It's one of those things where, like, if you have limited resources, which they really don't considering they have 3 pink wards, someone
It's chilling out still.
or you just walk
It's
over
always
and-
there. Always that one ward.
I understand why it lives sometimes,
Sure.
because you have to clear out the pixel brush and the pit and kind of in front of a pit, and there's like another tricky spot that you can put just over the blue wall that sometimes sees things, and sometimes you run out of resources to really clear it properly. This is not one of those times where their sweepers will be up soon. They have 3 sweepers. They have a bunch of pinks. They already had 3 pinks in their inventories on 3 different people. They just weren't all down around that. Like, you don't need that one behind the wall anymore. That thing needs to get moved forward. Whoever's pink that is got to step up.
Aha!
Quan found it. Let's go, Quan.
See, enough supports, plenty of sweepers. FlyQuest Academy taking full vision control around the Baron area. Levi has transformed, I can inform you all. So he's about to get rusty, or at least try to.
The double darken comp. the dark.
This is the power spike. Don't mind that they're very far behind, and Brandini doesn't have Ginsies yet, because FlyQuest Academy, they're already starting Baron.
At no time to ramp up anymore. They're going to have to take this 5v5.
Baron low. Couple Qs in here. Oh, Levi, no. And on a rampage. Takes him down. Maybe going to get one catch. Yeah, Malphite's going to fall, but the ultimate is down. They finish off the Baron, but it's going to try and fight it out. Andra's going to shoot people until they die. So simple, so clean. Quan down. Actually, maybe not as nice as they want it to be, but I think they've still got enough. Andra with a black shield going to look to try and turn it back around. Scuttle Crab eats the first shot. He's blocking. He's just an innocent bystander, Crab. Don't you dare hit him. Instead, it goes down. FlyQuest Academy, it's a little messy here and there, but they do get the Baron and a couple kills traded.
Yeah, a pretty huge split of resources there as they killed Levi intelligently, but then you saw Onda actually ult to get back over the wall and finish her off the Baron, which is great. But during this time, Riccara is completely unfocused. You saw that they were a little mismatched as the Terracult tried to keep, I believe it was on Noah alive. Yeah, and then that came in late, so he's dead. Ricara's free hitting. And then what actually was super critical in that fight was Aerie hit a binding on the Kaisa to make sure she could not snowball through the fight, and that forced the Tom Kent to actually keep Brandini out. So we'll take another look at this. Nice binding by Aerie to start things off. Super easy kill. Onda ult backs over the wall, finish this off. That's all great. Late ultimate on No. He's already dead. Now Peckna Whip is extended, and Ricara's just free hitting on the backside. Fight is a little split, but Brandini's passes back up, so he's fine. Riccara finishes Quan off before refocusing down, and then this binding snipes him and stops him from being able to potentially follow up. And as well as that stun, forcing the flash out of Linsanity. Very easily could have been a situation where if that went a little differently, Riccara snowballs through that whole fight and starts becoming a bit of a problem for the side of FlyQuest Academy.
Yep. I think the issue, though, is that just cannot face check the Graves safely. Andra is doing so much damage now with 4 items completed. Recently added a rapid fire cannon. By the way, No is the backup carry by all accounts. I get why Pega will wanted to protect him because, yeah, that's a Triforce Malphite.
Yeah, and I think that's fine. You know, build some more damage. You have so much utility in your team comp already. The only problem is if you're not killing Riccara, he's killing you, as you don't have any MR against a pretty magic damage heavy team comp. All things considered, though, there's a fair amount of physical damage too with Brandini and Levi. So I can understand the initial desire for
I think he's just thinking, you know what? That perfectly timed Tarek ultimate comes in. It's Malphite's time to shine. We don't need this under guy in his 5-item Graves. As FlyQuest with the Baron are going to assault this mid outer turret. Oh, No's just in there, straight in there actually. Trying to find the Dazzlecom. Levi trying to dance back around. Under actually low, but the Tarragol comes up in time. Brandini goes down. Aerie with a wonderful shackles. Levi on the backside trying to get the assassination, but he's not going to grab it. He's going to go down. The turret is dead. The 2 carries and 100 Thieves die on FlyQuest. Open up the inhib.
Very Very touch-and-go team fight, though, as the engage by Malphite was stopped out by Sun on that Devour, gave that small moment where they were almost able to finish off Anda, but the Taric ultimate came in, and now he's life-stealed back up to full base.
Yeah, still 20 seconds left. They're going to TP back in with both to try and end the game. FlyQuest Academy, as Noah is just chasing down these poor AD carries on the other end of the screen. Rakara is going to get a kill back in it, but a Nexus turret has fallen down. Still under fire as Rakara is trying to save the rest of this game, but FlyQuest Academy taking down turrets. The Nexus exposed, like snowballed so well with the Graves. And it looks like it is all over at this point. Levi trying to save a Brandini back, doing what he can, but the Nexus is there. Peckinwolf prompts a stopwatch. There's the last auto, and Anda. He started the early game, and he finishes right at the end on the Nexus.
Yep, showing that they only need the Graves to carry. It gets huge over the course of this game, and despite some close team fights, the team comp was able to keep him alive critically, and he was able to kite those out, and at the very end of the game, close out and kill the Nexus.
And I certainly still don't know exactly what the comp was trying to do, but I like the idea that you don't have to play super late game when you're funneling gold.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit of a strange strategy, but it doesn't matter if you're able to find these kinds of advantages. You fight over the first Scuttle Crab, Levi greeds out for it and is actually going to die as a result, and then they're going to continue to use this mid-jungle priority to make Levi's jungling life very difficult. Once again, very greedy play by Levi, dies as a result, and that continues to spill over to the top side. Now your Aatrox isn't able to split push, and now that you have a lead, just force Baron down. It doesn't need to be super clean. You have a very strong Graves and lots of protection, so even though these fights are not clean at all, you're ahead. And that's a very viable way of playing. I mean, back in the day, we saw 3 winning lanes that didn't really synergize that well as a 5v5, and that's basically the equivalent of what this is. You have a very strong mid-jungle duo that goes around and tries to bully people out.
Yep, and you can see kind of what happened from here. That gold lead just went downhill and then rolled faster and faster. A tough loss there for 100 Thieves, and I think our continued criticism of Levi, unfortunately, still ringing true. Just not quite as synergized with these players, not quite as, you know, just a little too greedy. And he's the kind of player that is a very greedy, good individual jungler, but solo queue is one thing. You can see where 5v5 is very different.
Yeah, and it's hard to know exactly whose fault it is because, okay, maybe Linsanity wasn't saying, hey, I'm pushed in mid, watch out for the roam to blue or anything like that. And so maybe out of nowhere, these two people hop on top of you, or maybe you think it's just the jungler. You don't know where Taric is. But at the end of the day, funnel comps have been around a long time. At this point, you should know if I see the jungler, the support / mid laner is there as well. And so as a result, if you see the Graves, Taric is there, and Levi just didn't react accordingly every time.
And I think for the rest of it, I mean, FlyQuest, happy to pick up a win. I mean, Kwon coming down, maybe that's the thing they really need. I mean, he did look pretty good on the Shen. A little bloodthirsty perhaps, but still kind of maybe adding a little bit more experience to this team.
And that's the thing for FlyQuest Academy is they've never looked bad. It's just they haven't quite all gelled together and had a really strong identity like they had before, where it was Keen and Shrimp are the core of what we want to do, and the side lanes are there to support them. They're still trying to find that identity or another identity that's going to work really well for them, but they're also not completely lost. We've seen them working with things like Mordekaiser. Again, here, another funnel comp this time around of Graves, and they have the players to make it work. They just aren't exactly sure what they're going for.
Yeah, it's certainly an interesting one there. Tough stuff there. I think for 100 Thieves, I mean, apart from Levi, I'm not sure where exactly we can look. I like the Kai'Sa, but Ricard just really couldn't do anything given that he was in a very uninteractive lane. I think Brandini, the other shining light for this team, even though Malphite should have been a very straightforward matchup, he also played a little greedy.
It was tough for Brandini. I feel bad for him because he's going for this kind of counter pick strategy. Well, not really counter pick. The other team picked Malphite into him, but he had the pushing advantage and could have potentially gotten some kills. But Levi was never able to actually convert those kills early on. And while the other team, usually with a funnel strategy, is not actually able to spill that over into side lanes very easily because things went so wrong in the jungle, you saw 3-man parties diving Brandini multiple times. Where when you pick Aatrox and you're against a Malphite, you're probably not expecting to be in that position.
No, probably not. Well, we've crossed the halfway point, but there's still a lots of league coming your way after the break. Echovox Academy takes on Optic. Don't go anywhere.